I mean, it should.
That's what we used in 2013.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Going live.
Oh, you Zoom this?
Yeah, we Zoom. Usually Kelly's on Zoom. She's not today, but technically it's a public meeting, so if people want to zoom in, they can.
And it gets recorded and uploaded, right?
Yeah. So. Get to that later, yeah.
Alrighty. Calling to order the meeting of the Recreation Committee on Wednesday, April 26th. At 6:06, 6:07 PM. Trevor Redinger, Chair.
Marcus Benner, Recreation Director.
Jim Letning, member.
Chris Blackman, member.
Introduce John or no?
Nah.
Okay. Not that important.
We can,
Okay. We have been called to order.
perfect. We can, I don't know how we always do this, but we can move the stuff about the 250th up from,
Don't do it on my account, I just assume
you assume sit and listen?
you don't mind me listening.
No,
Okay.
no, that's fine with me. So,
All right, so, well, citizens' comments. That's you.
I've done,
You got none?
no, anybody else have anything?
On,
Citizens'
Citizens'
comments?
Comments?
none that I'm aware of.
Okey-dokey. Now to approve the minutes from our last meeting, which was January 25th, 23. I believe Kelly prepared these for us. Was she at that meeting?
Yeah.
Um. They all look good to me. If you haven't had a chance to read them,
Yeah, I did.
we could use a motion.
Motion to accept the minutes from January 25th. 2023.
Need a second.
We need to do a second. Excellent. Thank you both so much.
There you
All
go.
in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Rock and roll. We're on a roll. Now time for the Mr. Recreation Director's report.
Yeah. So it's been a couple months since we met. Back then, ski club was going on. It didn't change. There was no light, no snow and no skiers. We only had one or two skiers go all winter. I don't have a problem with trying again next year, but we'll see. That's been 2 years in a row. It's kind of flopped.
Yep.
I don't know why.
Weather?
Weather, I would, you could blame the weather this year, but last year, I don't know, there was snow. It just, I advertised all the places I always do, and we used to get, anywhere from 5 to 10 people go every week, and the last couple of years it's been 1 or 2, and I'm still advertising, still pumping it out there, but I just,
Cause I used to take the grandkids there. and
yeah,
wait
I'm sure.
yeah, I'll give it the third go, but
Yeah.
I think at the last meeting, basketball hadn't started yet. Basketball went very well. We had right around 40 kids, which is up almost double from last year. It's kind of back to our pre-COVID numbers. We always
Wow.
used to have
A
30,
whole pile of them.
35, 40 kids. And then last year, we didn't do it for a couple of years, and last year was our first year getting back going, and we were right around 20, I think. And then this year we're bounced right back up to 40. So
Was it Miller again?
Beautiful.
it was at Miller. Yeah. Last year we did the middle school and Warren. Because we were supposed to be at the middle school the whole time, and then the middle school lost water or something for
That's
4
right.
weeks.
Yep.
So we ended up in Warren. Because they had the desks set up in the gym at Miller for COVID lunch.
Oh, yeah.
But we were able to get back in Miller this year, and it went really well.
That's good.
Little League's off and running. I think we have 3 or so more teams than we had last year throughout all the levels.
Oh, good.
And so that's
Really?
pretty good. Yep. Just in
Yeah.
T-ball to majors,
Yeah.
and that counts Warren and
Hey.
Union and everything.
That's good.
So
It's,
Yep.
yeah.
so that's where I just came from. That's why I'm rolling in 5 minutes late. Is I had T-ball practice and friendship, and I got offered the nice volunteer friendship recreation field director position. I said that's quite an official title for a volunteer position. So I'll be helping take care of that field on my own time. Yeah, Little League. So Little League's off and running. We're trying to get concession stands squared away. We haven't we used Sioux Forth last year and maybe a little bit of Friendship. Foster, we hadn't been into for a few years since pre-COVID. They had a keypad on the door and the battery died and nobody knew where the key was. So we finally got in there. We had a field day last Saturday. We got a lot done at Foster. Lowe's donated a brand new chest freezer and a pallet of Gatorade that showed up today. And by
Oh, no
pallet of
kidding.
Gatorade,
It
I
was
mean
big.
1,064 bottles of Gatorade.
Wow.
So, and it
Nice.
expires in August, so we're gonna have to do some selling. So I told them, you
Get
know,
the stands open, the catering
Yep.
goes quick.
I said, you know, we'll divide it amongst the 3 stands, sell it for a couple bucks and everything's profit. And I said, if we don't sell out, we'll throw everything at Sioux Forth and try to sell it during Waldeboro Day. So,
Yeah, why not?
but yeah, try to get rid of it. So that was very nice of them.
How many girls are participating in softball?
Softball, so
Major, how?
yeah,
is it different?
so the way the majors changed this year. So the Diamondbacks have always been a Waldeboro Friendship team.
Yeah.
And then we have the Hornets and the Warriors, which were always a Warren team.
Oh.
We had just enough girls try out for the Diamondbacks that we could have fielded a team. But based on the skill level at the tryouts, it would have been unsafe to
Yeah.
put all those at majors.
Yeah.
So actually what they did was they decided to get rid of the town identities in softball.
Okay,
They kept the Diamondbacks, Hornets, and Warriors, but they completely redrafted.
Oh, okay.
And so there's Warren girls on the Diamondbacks, there's Waldeboro girls on the Hornets and Warriors. And it even, hopefully, you know, we'll see, hopefully it evened the league out and will give us some good parity for some good games during the season.
good.
And we have great minors numbers, that we did keep the town identities with that. So Waldeboro Friendship has 3 minor softball teams
Oh, good.
and
Wow.
Warren has 3 as well.
Nice.
That's
And
excellent.
so we're hoping that we can bounce up to 4 teams next year. But the plan is to keep going with as a Madomic league instead of it
Yeah.
just
That's awesome.
makes more sense and keeps
Oh, yeah.
keeps the cream rising to the top.
Oh,
as
they're
far as
all
the
eventually
talent.
gonna play together.
Exactly.
What about the boys? How's that shaping up? Is it, I mean, it's,
I saw that nod. It's like,
Yeah,
uh-oh.
Yeah, the same night as they held tryouts the same night. The same night the girls did that, and they really worked together. The coaches did to make the teams the best they could because our coach, Chris Jameson's coaching the Diamondbacks, he didn't see the Warren girls try out.
okay.
And the Warren coaches didn't see the Waldeboro girls try out. And he didn't, the 2 Warren coaches had coached last year, but he hadn't coached, he didn't know any of the girls. So they sat down and it was like after Chris's first pick, he's like, all right, I got my pitcher. I need a catcher. And they went in, they're like, yeah,
Sure.
these 3 girls can catch. These 2 girls work well together. They really worked as a team to kind of make the teams as even as they could.
Good.
I came out of that meeting and the boys had enough to go to 3 teams.
Really?
And they decided they didn't have enough, that would dilute their pitching too much.
Okay.
And so they cut 10 kids.
It's harder with the baseball
Yeah, I
pitching
know,
rules.
Because
Uh,
games just don't move.
Yeah, and so they cut about 10 kids and probably 8 of them really should have been up in majors. They had a
Ooh.
really high skill level tryout.
What,
So
can we expand the teams?
you can, but they have to redraft and then people lose players and feelings get hurt and so I get
There's
that.
history, Jim.
Yeah.
And I was just gonna say, there's-
And
I know,
and
that was the part I always hated,
the other part of it
you
is
know?
we're just talking about Waldeboro Friendship.
Yeah,
Right.
So if Waldeboro Friendship dilutes their teams,
Yeah.
well, we might not beat Warren. Is that really what it's about? No,
no,
but tell a coach that.
true.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
And so it
Wouldn't
gets,
bother the kids. at
so
all.
I personally really hope that softball goes very well and it sets an example for baseball
Yeah.
to follow suit next year, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's been going really well. We've had a good volunteer group helping so far. We had a great number of people try out or come out to the field day at Foster. We got quite a bit done.
So is
looks
there,
good.
is there a possibility of doing a minor league with those 10 kids?
They go to minors. They don't
They
get.
do.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so they're
yeah.
not-
Is it
Yeah,
upper
they're-
minor though?
Yeah, there's
It's upper minor.
it's
Okay.
they go to an upper minor,
Oh,
which is,
okay.
which is still a
Okay.
coach,
Think
which
they got-
it's still a kid pitch, but it's the kids know,
Yeah, of course they do.
they go to school and,
Yeah.
Johnny 10-year-old is getting heckled by Adam 9-year-old who made the team and 10-year-old didn't like.
Right.
They get it, and it's too bad. It didn't used to be that way. I really, from everything I've heard about the upper minors, is
It's getting tough.
it's kind of a wasted year. Kids get stuck there.
Mhm.
Because it's the kids that, it's either 8-year-olds that aren't old enough, or it's the kids that got cut. So the talent level isn't there as majors, but it's still kid pitch, and so to an extent, and so the kid pitch, there's a lot of walks, and so they're actually, the coaches are trying to do it this year. They're doing it with no walks. They're gonna do kid pitch, but if the kid walks, so say I walk Jim, I've thrown him 4 balls, but I got 1 strike on him. Then the coach comes in and says, "Okay, Jim, you got 1 strike on you." And then the
You got-
coach will pitch from there on out. So that way, we're still developing batters, but developing pitching as well. Because
Right.
that's what the argument was with the coach pitch was.
It takes it away from the pitchers.
It takes it away from the pitchers, or it takes it away from the batters. We're hoping this approach will help speed up the games a little bit and move stuff along. Because it's no fun when you just go out there and walk 10
No,
batters, and
God, no.
it's no good for anybody.
Gotta get him to swing the bat.
So other than that,
Yeah,
other than that, it's going well. Summer rec planning is underway. I have 1 counselor position left to fill.
Oh, good.
We hired a third. I have my program leader, and then I have 2 assistant leader positions. And I filled the last assistant leader position yesterday, provided I can get him in the country.
Oh,
He's from Canada. So we got some visa and
Work permit.
work permit and background check. Doing a background check's not easy.
No.
But yeah. So hopefully he'll be a good fit. Very, very impressive young man, and it would be great to have a male on
Yeah.
staff. I haven't had a male on staff besides myself in 5 years.
Yep.
So
that's good.
it'll be, if I can find 1 more counselor, I will be good to go, and I'm wrapping up the schedule on that. So the field trip schedule and all that, and so,
We're still doing the expanded, right?
yeah, the whole day.
The whole day.
Yeah, really, the numbers exploded,
Yeah.
so that we were,
Well, it's a great opportunity for parents as well.
it
And for the
used,
kids.
it used to be the 9 to 1, and
Yeah.
I have records going back,
Yeah.
Kyle ran it,
Right.
and he had 40, 50 kids in that program. And the last few years before I took over, it was, 25, 20.
That's what I was gonna say.
Right.
The first year I ran it, we had about 15. The second year we had 10. I said, this is, I'm getting a call from the ACE program in Warren. They're like, hey, we're gonna open up another camp right in front of yours, because we have 26 kids on our waiting list.
Yeah.
I was like, that's more than I have in my camp. Let me do it. Let me go full day. And when you fill, you just send people to me.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did. I was really surprised. We did it. We were gonna do it, and then COVID hit. We shut down for a couple years.
Yeah.
So last year was our second year. So 2 years ago, I think we had right around 40 different campers, but we averaged about 20 kids per week, which was less than it was more than I'd had in my previous camp, but was less than I expected. But I didn't have the staff to really cover more than that. So it actually worked out well that first year. Last year, I had a full staff. We filled 40, almost 45 kids every week. And
Good.
so I'm fully expecting that to happen again.
It's the way I remember it.
And so should be good that way. And I just advertised yesterday our Shades of Ireland trip.
saw that.
I already have one
It's interesting.
verbal commitment of someone going, so that'll be great. That's there's a bunch of different pricing on that, but we were partnering with Colette. They are a travel organization.
Yeah.
Basically, they pull, they advertise all over the country, and so they're trying to fill the few buses they have in Ireland with people from everywhere. They've given us 10 seats. If we fill them, we can get more. If we don't fill the 10 seats,
They'll give them away.
they'll give them to somebody else. That's really there's no risk for us,
Okay.
but it's a great service, and the rec department gets a 10% kickback
Oh,
for every person we send. So the trip is roughly $4,000 a person. So
Right.
for every person I book, the rec department will get a
That's cool.
$400 kickback. My plan with that is we have our senior citizen bus trip
Mhm.
in the fall. if I can get, say I get 5 people to, that's a $2,000 budget that I have for that.
Yeah.
If I can get 5 people to go, that's another 2,000. I'll start running a spring trip
Yeah.
or a Christmas shopping, like something else to
Oh,
plug back
cool.
into that senior
Right.
program. That's because that's where the money will
Yeah.
most likely be coming from. So I want to give
Yeah.
it back, give
That
it
makes
back to
sense.
that group. But that's pretty much what I got for what's going on right now as far as programs. We'll get into everything else.
How the fields look.
Wet.
Well, I know that,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Yeah,
we
no,
went
that-
over halfway decent. or-
Yeah, no, they went fine. We reset the backstop at Sukforth last fall. And I don't know if it's because we didn't get any frost in the ground at all, but
Right.
It did well.
it didn't lift.
Rock and roll.
So
Yeah.
it's in a good shape. Yeah, the only field that's really wet is Sukforth. And Bagley, but
Yeah.
Bagley's not being used yet.
Um,
We put drainage in a few years ago at Sukforth and it's been working well, but when you get an early spring
Right,
rain,
you can't.
Yes.
I just, the only team that was supposed to be there today was Panthers. I sent them down to Friendship because there was an opening. And I fully expect Sukforth to probably be ready to play on tomorrow.
What's transpired with Foster is that.
You're jumping ahead, Jim.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll get there.
I'm
but
sorry.
We'll get there.
I'm anxious.
Yeah, it's still Little League owned, but we're looking at
I'm jacked.
signing it over to the town, so we'll get there.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It's hard. That's what this whole it's every meeting, it's I give my report and then we review we just repeat everything with the rest of the agenda.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Good.
So, any questions? Any other questions that don't jump on the agenda? Community center update.
Not much, probably next meeting, I'll bring back our space requirements that we looked at probably 8 months ago now, and just make sure we're still okay with them. But we're still waiting on a location. That was supposed to be figured out in March, and there was a small setback, I guess, so we're waiting on that for now. As soon as that's cleared up, then we can start talking about it and
More excited.
get more excited and get our stuff ready. We did receive that $1 million grant we talked about.
Mhm.
Max has gone back. That grant was through Senator King's office. Max is, I don't know if it's a reapply or if they're doing something. Senator King is trying to do something to either expand upon it or reopen it, but basically we've applied for another $1 million and we'll know in 4 months or so whether we get that.
Cool.
So that would be fantastic. But other than that, I don't have a lot, but we should probably start talking about the size again, just to make sure that I know that's the first thing they're gonna ask us once we're
Right,
ready to
right,
go.
right.
So might as well be ready.
Makes sense. So. Been kicking this can down the road.
Yeah.
Vice chair
Vice
discussion
chair, yeah.
/ appointment.
Yeah. Dusty seemed like he could be talked into it.
He's not
at our
here
last
today.
meeting, but he's not here, so
Right.
we can either kick it down
We-
the road until
or
he
vote
is
him in.
here or vote him in.
Why don't we just vote him in? Why not?
I got voted in.
Each not to come.
I was here.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of, it was kind of,
He was here, he just didn't say anything. Everyone's
I-
like, yeah,
I-
that was good, right?
Could probably wait for him to be here.
Yeah, we'll wait. We'll kick that one down the road. It's because I think it was his first.
It was really
And
early.
he's like, well, what's this about?
Unless
What
there's
do I
any-
have to do?
Any interest from newer members?
Yeah, it's my
Not yet.
first.
First-
but, you know,
They're all playing the waiting game.
Yeah,
I think it'd be good to have someone like Dusty from the standpoint, he's young,
Yeah.
he's got kids, he's vested.
Yeah.
And, you know, some old farts at some point are gonna.
yeah, forever.
No, I don't know, that's just my take on it.
Yeah, no, I think
That's
Dusty
fair.
would be a good fit. We just gotta talk him into it enough to vote him in.
Or just object too strenuously when the vote comes around. Apparently I wasn't vocal enough. Alrighty, playground update. I forgot I didn't log in and watch the meeting last night. I'm meant
We're
to.
gonna get a quick review. Sorry, John, you saw this last night.
He offered to put you up on the agenda.
So I met with the select board, I think 3 times since our last meeting. The first time. I showed them the three designs from Maine Recreation and Design and the one from Cedar Works. But they were just the climbers. So I had prices and stuff for everything. They seemed okay with the climbers and stuff and didn't make any decisions, but they did say they thought it should have swings. And so I went back this next meeting with quotes on swings, and they said swings are expensive. And so, and I didn't quite have, I didn't do my homework enough to update, I didn't update the pricing and because when you add swings, you add space and wood chips, and I didn't have all the updated pricing, so they wanted all that. I ended up driving around and seeing a bunch of playgrounds that, I went to Cedar Works store.
Right.
They had residential playgrounds, not commercial.
Right.
I went to Appleton School because they have a commercial Cedar Works playset there. It's for 2 to 5 year olds, not for the 5 to 12 like we've been looking at. So it's a little smaller, but you could see the different, the small differences in commercial grade. I didn't know this when I went, but they also have a Maine Recreation and Design playground at Appleton School. So that could have been an easier one-stop shop, but I took quite a road trip. I went to McCall's Park in Augusta. It's the one at the end of 17 on the left there. That has
Right
a
before
Maine,
you turn right down towards the
Yep.
circle.
Yep. that has a Maine Recreation and Design playground. I went to Wiscasset Community Park. That has a Wiscasset or a Maine Recreation and Design playground. And I went to Noblesboro Central School, which also has a climber from Maine Recreation and Design. So I have pictures from all that.
Did you check out the one in Thompson?
No, I was told that is as well, but I didn't know which park it was, so I didn't.
It's actually right by the middle school.
It's by the middle school.
It's nice.
And it's, but it had a lot of space. They spread
They had a
out.
lot,
Yeah.
you're right. There is a lot of space there.
I don't know. But
And I think,
it
didn't it have swings, Chris?
has swings.
Yeah,
It has everything. It has
Yeah.
a lot of swings.
a lot.
Yeah.
It has a
Because
lot.
they had the elementary school right there
Eh,
with it. So
exactly.
They
Yeah.
expanded.
So I met with the select board last night and talked to them about this. I did get them to vote and decide that we should go metal and plastic as opposed to the wood. I
I
know,
like wood better, but it's,
Yeah.
it's not practical.
I agree.
Resistant to potential vandalism.
I mean, that stuff looks like it's all powder coated too.
Yeah,
The stuff from
it's-
Main Design.
yeah, it's
Looks
nice.
nice.
Shep's
It does.
opinion probably weighed the most for me.
Yeah, Shep said he had no problems with it.
Shep's
So,
in charge of facilities over at Noblesboro
Oh,
School,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
so.
Shep Brown.
Oh, yes?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and so
Okay.
he said they've never had to so much as tighten a bolt.
Okay.
The guy in Appleton, he was funny. He's like, I walk in, I was like, is that a Maine Recreation and Design playground too? And he's like, yeah, it is. I was like, it looks exactly like the one in Wiscasset, so it must be. And he's like, yeah, but this Cedar Works one is nice. Like he really did.
Oh,
like-
he did like.
he really did
yeah.
like the wood. But it just, I don't know, to me, it made more sense to do the plastic and metal. I know our Julie kind of wanted the
Yeah.
wood and Bob Butler really liked the wood, but he said after the meeting, he's like, I like the wood, but you made a strong case of
Yeah.
why we should do metal and plastic. And
Right.
so we started looking at that. So what they want from us is a board or committee recommendation of which playset we should go with. So we have the 3 options. I can pass them around. I should have made copies. I didn't. But we can run through the slideshow real quick. So these are the Cedar Works stuff. If you guys are really interested, these are the residential ones. They have the swings included because they're freestanding. That's what makes them residential.
Right.
For commercial, they have to be cemented in the ground.
Gotcha.
And so that's the difference. I did notice in the top right of that right picture, you can see a crack.
Yep.
And that's only been out there 2-3 years. I don't know if it would ever come of anything, but it's something
there.
that it's there.
Yeah.
You know, and that, same thing with the rounded post on the other one. It's, it's dry, it has a dried split. Probably, like I said, probably never hurt.
Right.
Wood does that, but metal doesn't.
But you're also talking residential versus commercial, a bunch of kids.
Right. right,
Unsupervised kids.
I
unsupervised
was just gonna
kids,
say.
yeah, I'm with you, and that's
Right.
what,
It
yeah,
has much more use.
I was happy your wife made the comment last night, cause. Pam was like, yeah, my kids had a Cedar Works playset and they loved it, she's like, yeah, you're 4 kids, not the whole town using it, you know,
Right.
I also made a comment about fire.
yeah.
Well, that was the first thing, that vandalism and stuff, like the
Yeah.
metal one's not gonna burn.
Went to a
Might melt,
Juvenile
Exactly.
juvenile fire starter course. The fire department actually talk about playgrounds, kids.
Yeah.
Set that stuff on fire, sure.
Absolutely.
Got wood chips underneath it, what the heck?
yeah,
Right.
so.
They wouldn't do it intentionally.
No,
It's like they didn't intentionally kick in my,
They have a
Door.
cooler with hot dogs ready to go.
this just has more information about the Cedar Works said the walkways are wider with thicker boards and stuff, and that's what makes it commercial as well as the cement.
Okay.
This is the one in Appleton, like I said, it's
It is
small.
nice looking.
Yeah, they look
Yeah,
great.
they're very attractive.
But yeah, like I said, they're still boards, they still break. This is the main recreation and design one in Appleton.
Yeah.
That is the same, the 2 pictures on the right are lumped together, and that's pretty,
Oh, I got you.
Those.
Yeah,
I got as close as I could, it pretty much makes.
don't know how to use your panoramic mode on your phone.
No, yeah, not that fancy. It was actually just happenstance. I put the 2 pictures side
I'd
by
be like,
side, and I
oh,
was like, oh, these kind of fit together.
Right.
So that's pretty much what it looks like.
It's like a
Wiscasset
satellite.
has the same exact climber. And this one is right around 10 years old, and there's no aging, you can tell, like it looks brand new.
Right.
Yeah.
The Augusta Park, this one's only 4 years old.
Let's see, it's
The,
newer.
yeah, it's a different style, but it is nice. The select board did say, they asked what colors I could get. I said I can get any color you
Any color
want.
you ask.
And
Yeah.
they like this color, so we might look at doing a blue,
course.
yellow, gray.
It is kind of the
You know,
color of playgrounds lately.
That
Long ago.
picture,
Who's that
jump
kid in
back.
that's my kid.
I know.
I needed to bring the
for scale.
I needed to bring the expert.
Bring that back one slide. So on the left, is that like
That's a swing set.
okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
When I was looking at it the other
Yeah,
day.
so that's a 2-bay swing set. So the one we have quoted is a 3-bay,
Okay,
which would
Okay,
add the toddler swings. It's just your standard swing set,
yeah,
metal and plastic. That 10 spin that my kid's sitting on, that is what's listed in option 1. You can see, I mean, the play sets aren't exactly the same, but the price difference between option 1 and option 3.
How are they supposed to get thrown off? And then
they can get
when they're-
thrown off
when
really
their-
easy there.
When their friends spin them like.
There's nothing to keep them on, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, the seats are really,
He's sitting in there pretty deep.
depressed.
That doesn't,
I think it's a
It's not like the bars we used to have.
Yeah.
Hang on for dear life.
It's a metal wheel of death, that's for sure.
this way they just fly out and hit you quick.
Yeah, so the price difference between option 1 and option 3 is about $10,000, and basically that's the only difference.
What is, sorry.
The 10
The
spins.
10 spin.
10 spin.
So if we want to add something like that, we'd be looking at another $10,000.
Now I'm gonna ask a silly question. Insurance on that? Does that?
I haven't,
Does that make it worse?
I wouldn't.
I'm
I
just
wouldn't-
wondering.
I wouldn't think so. I can check, but I wouldn't
Okay.
expect.
I don't think it should, but
Yeah,
I know.
if
insurance
it's a,
companies.
if it's a certified piece of playground
Okay,
equipment,
that's all
I
I
would think
wanted to
it
know.
would all fall under the same thing.
Okay,
This is main recreation and design in Wiscasset. This one is estimated at 20 to 25 years old. So it has some age on it, and it's starting to show it a little bit. You can see the colors aren't as vibrant as the 4-year-old one.
Mhm.
But there's nothing wrong with it. It's still in good working order. You can see in the right picture, the blue, I don't know if it's just dirty or if it's starting to fade.
The paint's starting to
Little-
get rubbed
Yeah,
off.
to get
paint-
wear and
Yeah,
tear.
exactly. But
Sure.
there's, if you look at this next slide, you can see all the fastenings underneath.
Yep.
They're still bright stainless. I couldn't find anything on it that seemed dangerous
Believe it or
whatsoever.
not, that could be painted
Yeah, it could be.
very easily.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
very expensive.
Right. So that's the oldest one, and that's 25
not bad.
years. So that I thought that was pretty good. This is the one in Noblesboro. It's about 15 years old. Looks pretty similar. It's smaller. Same color design, but Shep said he's never had to so much as tighten them all. You know, he said he'll go out and check them and they're always fine. He's never had to do anything. This is the demographic. I called Miller School to ask about ages. So we have 343 kids in the school that fall into that 5 to 12 age. If you look, that's averaged about 45 kids per grade.
Yeah.
So if you average that to the 2 and 3 year olds that aren't in school yet, you're looking at about 90 kids that we might not be reaching with the 5 to 12, but we'd be reaching the 340 here. But I think both, as I said last night, the Cedar Works and the Maine Recreation and Design, they both
Rated.
they're rated for 5 to 12.
Okay.
It doesn't mean you can't take a younger kid on. it.
Right.
And I think that all the designs are set up fairly well for younger kids
Okay.
because the climbers are set up like this.
Right.
They're just bigger. So you see like that first platform's not that high off the ground. And all of ours are set up, these first pictures, they have a double slide on that first platform.
Right.
So you could have a 2-year-old walk up there,
Easily.
slide down to mommy.
Yep.
Right.
If we have the toddler swings, I think it reaches everybody. But if you build, go back, the Cedar Works one,
Yeah,
too far, way too far. Come on. All right, so this one was rated for 2 to 5 year olds or 2 to 6. It said on it was all enclosed in the gate, said only 6 and under. My kid's 4. He played on that for like 2 minutes and he's like,
That's
I want to go play on that
That's
one.
yeah.
Boy.
You know, so talking to the Maine Recreation and Design guy, he said, you know, the ages on commercial play sets are 2 to 5 and 5 to 12. He said, in reality, they're 2 to 3 and 4 to 9. And so,
But if you've got a kid under 4, you're usually with them.
right,
And that can.
you got to have good parents.
That could be used with something like that.
Yeah.
To just drop a 2-year-old there.
Right, exactly.
So I'm not.
So I have no problems going with what we had. Both Cedar Works and Maine Recreation Design have modular systems. So if we decide
You can add.
this is too much money, we could get quotes on smaller climbers that we can add to later.
Right.
Or we can start with this now and say, you know, hey, it took him talking to the Maine Recreation Design guy. I was like, can I add to these later? He's like, what do you mean? I was like, say I don't want the monkey bars now because they're too much money, but he's like, oh yeah, we can bolt all that stuff on.
Yeah, it's all set up that way.
So that works really well.
We have a budget number.
I was never given a budget number.
Because this was a part of the sale of Friendship Street School.
So yeah,
Oh.
so it's the not exact. I was
What, didn't
wrong.
I,
I was wrong on that.
Oh, you were? Oh, okay, sorry.
it's number like 50 grand kicking around?
There is a number, so nothing set. So basically what I was told was so we sold Friendship Street School and there was money left in capital to take care of that building.
Yeah.
And so we have that money to spend to fix that. We also have the money from the sale of the school, but that is like extra, that some of it's earmarked for other stuff. What I went off, no one ever gave me a budget, but the first place that Julie gave me was the Cedar Works one that was
Ballpark.
around 50 grand. So when I called all these other
You were.
play sets, I said somewhere in this ballpark. It went, you know, it went up, you know, 50 to 70, especially when I added the swings.
Right.
And I gave them space requirements. I said, this is what I have for space. What can you fit in there
Okay.
in this ballpark? And so, but that's kind of how we came with these. And they didn't tell me no last night. So I think if we pick one of these that we like, we take it to them and say, this is our recommendation. If they decide it's too much money, I can always go back to Maine Recreation Design and say, hey, make it smaller. Or we don't do the swings now. We do the swings in
I like
5
this.
years.
I like the swings.
Yeah.
Swings are good.
I'd nix the spinner before the swings.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah,
I
and-
would agree.
But should we be going from we picked the base unit and with swings and spinner? And then.
pick it all.
Pick it all.
Let them
Let
make
them
it.
Yeah, go big. Yeah, and
Exactly.
The old saying, they can always cut it. if
Right,
they would.
exactly.
We can't add it if they don't let us.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's
That'd be,
that's we can talk about that. So this was my recommendation last night. was that I still think
Yeah.
option 3 was the best because it's not only the cheapest.
Yeah.
But would last, I was advocating for plastic and metal over
Right.
wood,
Yeah.
right? So. All the point, all the points don't really make sense against the other 3, but it's the lowest build cost. It's the lowest maintenance. I wouldn't have to stain it. And I think it will last longer.
So,
And with or without swings. So and I think we can probably get some different quotes on it, but there's not a whole lot of difference, but I did like the design of the third climber the best.
Alright.
But we could say, hey, we want option 3 with the 10 spin
With the 10 spin and
And the
swings.
and swings, and he'll just give me a different number than what we have there.
Yep.
So if that's what we wanna do,
Yeah.
I got the,
be nice if we had models we could send Ollie on to try out and give us a review,
yeah.
but.
So these are somewhat bigger pictures, but option 1 with the 10 spin, we can pass these around. I can go get the link. I have a 3D model of everything if you guys really wanna look at them more.
I think when you asked, I had gone with 1 because I like the idea of the spinner,
Right.
but I didn't see the swings even.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing the
The
swings.
swings weren't even offered.
They're
They're
later.
Yeah.
So they're all separate. So
Oh,
there's
okay,
technically there were 8 options I sent you.
all right, that's why I
Yeah.
didn't get it.
Okay.
So it's all the same. It just adds more money. So
Okay,
option 1 that has the 10 spin, I think it has technically 4 slides.
Yeah.
okay,
One of them's kind of the same. With wood chips and everything comes in at 74,665.
And that is with the swings.
That's
That's
with the
with everything.
swing,
Okay,
with the
that's
swings.
everything.
That's the one.
Yeah, everything, installation,
right,
everything except for the,
Additional wood chips. right?
no, it
Oh,
has.
that
the
one, you
wood-
did
has
that
the
one
wood chips.
again?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I
You
redid
redid
it.
that,
Yeah, I
okay.
redid it. So main recreation and design will install, but we have to do some of the site work. So the only price that's not included is some of the site work that Public Works will have to do.
Right.
Cause I don't know what that would cost.
All right, so I did go with 1.
So
Okay.
option 2, 3 slides. I don't like this. I think there's a slide over there that's similar. So like another 4 slides. It has a rock wall. That one comes in at 71,265. I think the 10 spin is the more expensive of the
Right.
one.
Uh,
And then option 3 doesn't have a 10 spin or a rock wall, comes in at 65,900. With the swings.
That's with swings, but
With
no
swings.
spinner.
With no spinner, nothing else. It has,
And that's the one you like the best though, right?
it is, it has the
That-
3 big slides on top, it has
Yeah.
one coming off the side, it has monkey bars coming off the side, and it has the toddler slides. I
Okay.
just,
that sounds like
overall,
the
it-
widest spread.
yeah,
Yeah,
I like
it's
the
big.
climber the best. I
Say,
can
throw-
reach back out to him and
Threw a
say.
10 spin on there and.
and
Yeah.
call
it'll
it
be,
good. So that's gonna take it to 75.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Right.
Look at the 80.
and if they say we have to cut something, that
Then
goes
the
first.
spinner
that
goes
goes
first.
spinner goes first.
See, when I was in college, we had no, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go.
We're not gonna go.
Please.
John, you know what I.
So,
We need a quicker button on that.
Yeah.
Stop recording.
yeah. So that covers my slideshow and everything we
Alright,
talked
alright,
about
cool.
last night. So if somebody wants to make a recommendation,
Do we need to vote or
we need to vote, so I can go back to them with
any
official-
before we vote, any questions? Does that make sense to us? on the-
Oh, I agree.
Okay, so we have a motion to recommend option 3 with the plus the spinner.
Yes.
Yes,
Jim's
seconded.
I'll move
Chris,
to
second.
recommend option 3 with the
The 10
spinners, the 10 spin.
10 spin. All in favor? Unanimous. Sweet, that was easy.
Jim
you.
first, Chris second.
That's quite a bit of work, you put into that. And Ollie, thank him too.
Yeah, but I'll,
Was
He
quite- you wanna hear, talking about stories, we left at 8:30 in the morning. We went to Noblesboro School, met Shep, talked to him for a bit. Went to Wiscasset, saw that playground. I actually stayed there a while. I let him play for a
Right.
bit. Then we went to Augusta disc golf, played around at disc
Oh,
golf.
very good.
Went into Augusta, got lunch, picked up some grocery stuff. Wendy's, I think. Yeah, we were in a hurry.
What'd you have?
Spicy chicken sandwich. He had nuggets.
Right.
Ah.
Alright,
Then we went to McCall's Park. We only played for a few minutes. Then we went to Appleton Playground, saw that and talked to Chris there for a while.
Yeah.
Then we went to West Appleton Country Club and played another round of disc golf. And then we stopped.
Got your
at-
steps in.
I didn't know they had
It's not the best
that.
course.
Okay.
Then we went to Cedar Works store and then we got home at like 6 o'clock at night.
That's a good day.
It was a good day.
Yeah.
By hole 14 in Appleton, he was.
I was
like,
saying,
I hate you, Dad. This is too much. I'll go exit out of. Can I do it
Good.
from here? Am I that talented?
Should have gone to McDonald's, and you got the old playground fee.
Yeah, you could have compared.
Yeah, we had fun. I mean, you got to see 5-6 players
Yeah.
a day and we had a good.
Absolutely.
Ollie Benner's official recommendation is that we get a playground with Grimace and the hamburger on it.
He was pretty tired. Get done.
Like that.
So was I.
Was working it all week.
Alright, so we're good on the playground?
We're good with the playground. I will take that back to the select board. I'll get a quote.
Right.
From Maine Recreation Design. I'll have them printed up, the pretty blue and yellow. And I'll take it to the next select board meeting and say, this is the recommendation of
Recreation.
the Recreation Committee.
Thank you. 5.4.
Foster tennis
Tennis
courts.
courts.
Select board approved to move forward with the acquisition of Foster Field. So that it will relieve the obligation of the tennis courts at 80 Gray. Kind of waiting on,
Okay, right.
kind of, yeah, so the obligation we have at the tennis courts at 80 Gray. They were built with grant money back in 1973.
Right.
And they had to be kept up in good working order forever. Tennis courts don't do that, they fade away.
Yeah.
So we're in bad standing with the LWCF right now. If we were to apply for a grant, we wouldn't get it. So the idea, perfect world scenario is that at Little League volunteers, we're doing well this year, but the Little League bank account and the Little League volunteers have been dwindling over the years. And it costs a lot of money to own Foster Field with the upkeep and to take care of it, and the $40 registration fees don't really cover it. So the idea was the town could take over Foster Field. That would put the maintenance on my budget as opposed to volunteers raising money. It would put it on the same level as Sukforth Field, which is the baseball field that the town already owns that we take care of.
Right.
So we'd just be doing it for the softball side, which I think is a good look. It would help, it would put it on me, so I would right now I take care of it as much as I can, but it's not, I don't own it, so it's not first on my priority list, whereas if we owned it, I'd have to make more time to work on it. And we get a lot of complaints about it, like, oh, there's trash out here, or the dugouts are
It's the most visible field.
the most visible field in town, and people think we own it, so they complain to us, and like, a bunch of volunteers own that, why don't you volunteer and help them? And then, doesn't go well.
Closes it up.
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Right, and so I think it would be a decent look, take it over. And then the idea is we can transfer that obligation. Because the tennis courts don't have to be tennis courts, it just has to be new
Open
open
recreation.
public recreation for the town
Oh,
of equal recreational value. And so a ball field is,
Blows the tennis courts out of the water
Should
for
blow
how
it.
much they get used.
should blow the tennis courts out of the
They're-
water.
They've been in such bad shape.
And-
Ball
And it's not something we would have to build because it's already built.
built. It's just maintenance.
Right, it's just maintenance, and there's only like a few little ADA things we'd have to do to bring it up to compliance. And so we take that over, we do yellow book appraisals of both properties. We get the transition moved so that the obligation goes from the tennis courts
To the field.
over to the field, so we can do whatever we want with the tennis courts at that point, get rid of them, whatever. If Volunteers of America comes through and buys that property, we don't have to worry about
Right.
building tennis
Uh,
courts right
that's right.
behind them, stuff like that. That puts us back in good standing with LWCF, because we are working on the Sylvania property
Right.
about,
Figured that had to be tied in.
yeah, so we're doing some trails. And then the idea is where the building was to cap it with some clay and do courts, a basketball court and 2 tennis courts that would host 4 pickleball courts.
Okay.
And then some green space, maybe a gazebo, some parking. That's kind of the ideas that the Sylvania committee is working on right now. So if we get back on good graces with the LWCF, then we can apply for grant funding for that project. So that could be helpful on both ends. So that's where we're at with Foster Field. The select board
Yeah, what do they need to do? Sorry.
I don't know what they need to do. That's what we're kind of waiting on Max. He's
Okay.
Max, the town planner, he'll come up with whatever we need and we'll meet, we'll have Little League meet with the select board and figure out the details and then I'm sure we'll have to get some type of lawyer involved to acquisition stuff, but where it's a acquisition of property and not a sale of property, it doesn't have to be voted on. The select board can make that decision, so. Seems like it's gonna work out. I know when I first brought it to the select board, they're like, well, what's in it for us? Like, why would we take on this field? And now that they have,
Now they have a reason.
now they have a reason, so seems like a pretty good idea. And it would help Little League out quite a bit if they could offload that responsibility of taking care of that field.
So that's the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
The boxes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
tower,
yeah,
so
the whole property would be signed over to the town.
electrical.
Yeah.
Service, everything.
Yep. Yep, so that's the idea. And I went back and talked to some of the old timer in charge of Little League people. I've only had one person I haven't really swung over, but pretty much how every conversation went was like, hey, what do you think of the town taking over Foster Field? These are guys that coached, when I was kids or even before, and that, they spent hours out there volunteering their time. So I thought it appropriate to ask them, and every conversation was like, that's a terrible idea. Why would you do that? I was like, I hear you, and I'm on the fence about it myself, but this is, we're losing volunteers. We don't have the money. It would put the money in my account here, so we could take care of it. We could use town resources to take care of it. And by the end of every conversation but one, they're all like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, it's probably the best way to go. So I felt all right moving forward with it.
Yeah.
But that's the idea, and that's kind of what's happening with Foster Field. Again, just waiting to hear the details. It wasn't at last night's meeting, it was the one before that we talked about it, and they said, let's move forward with it, but I haven't heard anything since. So once they do, I'll get Little League more involved.
Okey-dokey. You have any more? Any,
The current Blue League people would like to.
Yeah, we talked about it in the spring and they're like, yeah, early spring. And they were like, absolutely. And then we actually have had a good year of volunteers and we've revitalized our sign sponsorship program.
Right.
And we actually have quite a bit of money coming in right now. And so I was like, hey, guys, like, I just want to make sure we're all still on board with this. We've brought in enough money where we don't really need to get rid of it if we don't want to. And they're all like, no, like,
That money can be used for other things for the.
oh yeah. Yeah,
That's what I
they have plenty
Good.
of things to
I know.
spend
they-
money on.
they- Okay.
And so it's just,
and we went and talked to all living previous presidents. Darn close,
most of them, yeah.
so.
Yeah, the only one I didn't quite get on board was Phil.
Gensler?
Yeah. And
Huh.
but I was planning on talking to him again.
Mhm.
Cause he saw
Yeah.
he saw something in the paper that. And he, according to him, when they signed it, when they did the paperwork on the deed. Back when he was here, they had it written up that it could never be signed over to the town.
Oh,
I've read the deed and it just says it can't be used for anything,
other than,
basically recreation. It says it can't be commercial or residential.
Right.
right,
And so I didn't see anything about, we can't sell it to these people or transfer it to anybody else. I'll relook at that, but that was his understanding of how they had it written up. And
what
I
about?
haven't seen that
Right,
in our records,
Talk
so,
about that later.
but.
Alright. Interesting,
Other than that, that would be the only hiccup, but like I said, me and Max both looked at the deed and neither of us said anything. And I would have it stay that way, if Little League's gonna sign it over to the town, they wanna make sure it's in writing that it stays a Little League field forever.
Right.
It's the best Little League field and
Yeah.
State.
softball field.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing too, make sure the high school can still use it in the
Yeah.
off chance
I was
that
just gonna say, they used it.
they use that,
Yeah.
That's nice to have that option.
Absolutely.
Okey dokey, thank you. Spring, summer preview, anything other to add? that You already
Nothing,
did.
yeah,
Summer,
yeah, nothing that wasn't in my,
summer Little League and looking forward to soccer season.
yeah.
Alrighty,
All right, 250th.
new business.
We have our Waldeboro 250th anniversary celebration. Board chairman, Mr. John Blodgett here. All right, do you have something you want to say or?
Sure. First of all, glad I had the opportunity to sit here and listen to the meeting. Actually, I'm gonna try and get to all the different boards. I've talked to Shellfish, I haven't talked to planning board, but I'm talking to the top select board a couple times. Last May, we were asked to form a committee to celebrate Waldeboro's 250th birth. So Jim, part of the meeting, you weren't the first meeting, were you? I don't
Not the
think
first one. I came in like a month late.
there was a handful of us sitting around the table and lo and behold, I got the chair. So,
Funny how that works, isn't it?
well, in all honesty, I kind of said, okay, I'll do it. 'Cause my dad did it for the bicentennial in 1973, which I remember that. I'm that old. So I was kind of honored to follow his footsteps and the committee we have has been working very hard since last May. Things have really developed into a great time for everyone. So that's why I want to get out and speak to everyone, especially you folks, because recreation, we're gonna be on the recreation. June 16th, 17th, and 18th is our events. We're gonna kick off out here on Friday night. We're gonna bury a time capsule. We're gonna put some items inside what I call it a vault coffin, stick it in the ground, so 50 years from now, and 2073, at the 300, they can dig it up and they can laugh at us. We're also that night, we're gonna have a car show sponsored by Delano Seafood up at Delano Seafood. And then we're gonna have a good old bean supper at the congregational, the Broad Bay Community Church next to Halls. Saturday's the big day, and we hope you guys can help us get the word out there and want to volunteer and help out. We certainly use some help on that day. We're getting it off with a road race, 5K road race. Actually, we're kicking off with a pancake breakfast.
Ooh, now I'm listening.
In the Baptist church, up here on the hill, they want to do something. I said, how about doing a pancake breakfast? Well, we want to do it somewhere close to town. So I talked to the American Legion. They're gonna do it at the American Legion on Jefferson Street. And they're not gonna charge a dime for anyone who's going to have breakfast. Free of charge for anyone that goes in and eat for a pancake breakfast. After that, we're gonna run down to the center of town and run a 5K road race. If you wanna sign up for that, you can do that.
Rather sign up for
All
the
the hills.
pancake-
I'll sign up for the pancake breakfast.
Not running after.
That course, if you don't know it, actually runs through the
Yeah.
recreational.
Yes, it does.
It's one of the more hilly
It is
5Ks.
The most.
Fair enough.
And that's what Lucas McNally's running it,
Yeah.
and he's advertising it, he's trying to get 250 runners to celebrate 250. But I've checked his website, last time I checked, it wasn't quite close, even close to 250, but
Still early.
in any event,
It's still early.
yeah, people kind of think about it.
That's a lofty goal, but I know in the past he's run road races there and he's had quite a.
He's
quite a
always
big
had a
number
good,
of-
I don't know if he's ever
big-
got to 250.
No, but they've always had 50 or so people.
Yeah, easily 100.
Oh, yeah.
So we are gonna need a couple volunteers to help out with that. He's pretty much self-sufficient, but we're gonna need a couple people to help just guard the roads and
Yep,
stuff,
yep.
keep people from running over people, things like that. We're gonna have a big opening ceremony up at the German church. Two of us are gonna speak, opening ceremony to open up the day. And then we're gonna have a magnificent parade starting at noon. Gonna start down in the old Sylvania lot, come through town, cross through the village, onto Mill Street, end up by, gonna kind of end by the old VFW, the church there, or Miller School, depends on which direction people go. But I put my brother in charge of that, Seth's in charge of the parade. And he's got over 50 units right now gonna be in the parade, so we've got 3 units of Shriners, we've got bagpipers, hopefully. A lot of the community community organizations are doing floats. Businesses are doing floats, the town office is doing a float. We're even gonna have Johnny Daigle and Public Works, they're gonna be in the parade with it, so they're equipment. So we're going all out on this parade. And then after that, everyone's gonna congregate on the fields. The Sioux Forth and Begley Fields, and we're gonna have a all-day afternoon, and entertainment director Jim has lined up several musicians and bands. Starting from 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 10 o'clock in the evening. Got a stage coming in. And it should be a good time. The only thing that I'm not even gonna talk about it is.
Right.
Yep.
That's the only thing that, but right now, and I've got great response. We've got a Facebook page. People from all over are coming to it.
Fireworks start at 9.
Fireworks at 9. The fireworks will be up at the
Gray.
up at the Philbrook Fields.
That's a nice place. to walk.
Because we had them once there before in 2013, but there was an issue.
Yeah.
With
Debris.
debris going over to the trailer park.
Right.
But we've ordered, Marcus is in charge of the fireworks. And we've emphasizing. Very little ground effect fireworks, so that way the folks that are staying over in the fields can see them everywhere.
We've already paid in full for the base package, so any little bit we get extra raised.
And that's Saturday night?
That'd be
That's
Saturday,
Saturday night.
Saturday, 17th. And then Sunday, it is Father's Day, but still, we figure, well, what the heck? We've got, chicken barbecue going on at the Masonic Lodge. And what else we got going on that day, too?
We have Tom Medina.
Yeah, we have a musician,
Right.
Tom Medina is gonna be there at the chicken barbecue, cornhole tournament across the street.
Home run derby.
Home run derby gonna be up on the fields. Not as many events, but there are still events to be had on Sunday. And then we clean it up.
Well, the other big thing is Justin.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna bring that. So in light of that, we've been doing a lot of fundraising. Tell you what, this community and people, not only the businesses, but the personal.
Yeah.
Contributions have been incredible. They're donating left and right to help us out with this cause. Hillside, for example, Hillside, they fronted the money for this book we just published. Moody's and Cornerstone Financial, they fronted the money for all the t-shirts we're gonna sell. Dallas Furniture, they fronted the money for the coins that we still are selling. And plus, it's great, every business in town has been participating one way or another, as well as town, business outside of town. And we have Justin McKinney, like Jim was saying, if you don't know him, he's a comedian.
Yeah.
He's very comparable to, Bob Marley.
Yeah.
He'll be here on the 26th of May.
He's better. I don't like that.
He's too commercial.
Thanks for everybody.
He's a comedian.
Its manners look stupid. Okay? From my friends outside.
Yeah.
No, 26th of May, at the high school. Justin McKinney started at 7. Actually, he's gonna have someone on the stage first to warm up everyone. And they won't let me tell jokes, so. I tried to get Billy, to let me get up there. We're gonna be up there that night, and you folks that want tickets, you can get tickets in advance, it's cheaper than when you get in the doors, they're 32.
32.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
25.
25.
24. And we've had, we sold quite a few already, so.
And you can, well, Billy has them, but there's what, 3 different locations? The town office, are they selling tickets?
Yeah, town office has them, library has
Library.
them. Fully real estate up on the hill has
Yeah.
them, plus all of us committee members, we have them.
Right.
So, and if we run out, we'll get more. We got 300, we got to sell 300, we want to sell 300.
Is that the break even point?
No,
No, that's gonna,
that's gonna be. a good-
That's my.
that's gonna yield some
That was the
decent
max,
money.
400's the max, right? The auditorium seating.
No.
350.
350.
350.
Yeah. So, just get the word out for it on that.
Yep.
A lot of good things happening, tell you. Makes me tear up a little bit thinking of all the support we've had for this. When we sat here a year ago, how are we gonna do this? Now look at us.
Coming together.
Coming together, and it's coming quickly.
But that's why I wanted to come in and talk to you folks about it. Help me spread the word.
Perfect.
Any questions on it? You don't mind us using your fields, do you?
we'll talk about the stage, but no. I don't mind the stage, it's how we get it on the field that worries
As
me.
long as it's dry, it's okay.
No, talking about peeling the fence back to get it in, I don't wanna deal with that.
No, you got the double fence.
It'll fit through there?
Yeah, it comes
Okay.
out, yeah.
Oh, perfect, that's no problem. then.
Yeah, but I got another idea. I'll run by it on the field.
Okay.
I'll tell you right now. I would like to peel a little bit of this, and if you're worried about getting tight, I'll get it tight. I got the equipment to get it tight.
Yeah, I just, yeah, we did it once for drainage and I never got it back the
Just
way.
like two sections and.
Yeah.
Because people can get on it, but if something was to happen, you gotta get them off quick.
Yeah, I think safety wise, the ambulance can fit through that double gate.
Right, they can,
Yes.
yeah. Because the stage is gonna be, because we did this in 250, that outside perimeter fence wasn't there.
At all.
It wasn't there.
It didn't-
No, the one off
The inside fence.
the inside fence.
The
wasn't there,
the
right?
outfield fences we put in a couple
Right.
years, last year, the year
Yeah, that
before.
hasn't been there.
And
Yeah, I prefer.
I'd like to be able to get the stage even up against that fence, that way everyone's on the outside, but I don't think we can reach it with the wiring we have. We can walk it out, take a look at it.
Yeah, we'll come up with a plan. So, I'd rather not, if it comes down to moving, taking fences down, I prefer the outside fence as opposed to those new outfield fences there. Still stretching,
In good shape.
yeah.
I'll say stretch. Good.
And then all
Yeah.
along that roadway going down through the fields will be vendors, we have
Food trucks.
food trucks and some community organizations are gonna be setting up tents and booths.
Pam's got a whole list of vintage games she's
Vintage
been working
games being
on.
played.
Oh, cool. So we were talking about a kissing booth the other day, which is Jim's interested.
Really?
I told Pam I had a lot of things to do that day. I couldn't dedicate it.
So I know I should have kept that last meeting.
No, this was just in the office.
That's all I've got.
All
Yeah,
right, thank you
Thank you.
very much. Yeah, fingers crossed for the weather.
Yeah, that's
All right,
beautiful.
the Maine Recreation and Parks Association Conference. Nailed it.
Good job.
Look at you go. Yeah, so I guess it was March, we had the MERPA conference over at the Samoset. MERPA, that's what you call it, yeah. It's better than the phys ed one, because the phys ed one is Mayford.
Yeah.
Maine Association for Health. Recreate, phys ed. Physical,
Just gotta write it down to see if you can get it. It was me.
I don't know. I don't know, anyways, I know, they call it Mayford, this one's MERPA. It works out, but yeah, so we headed over to Samoset, it was. Sunday night, Monday and Tuesday morning, early afternoon-ish, I sat in on like 8 different sessions. There's directors from all over the state there. A couple of the sessions I sat in on were just roundtables of directors where we got together and talked about what was going on, what we were facing for challenges and stuff. It's pretty neat because I tend to sit and listen a lot. I don't speak my piece much. It's kind of intimidating. You sit in a room of 100 park and rec directors, and you know who the ones talking are. It's Saco, it's Portland, it's Augusta, it's Bangor. So it's nice when you get into some of the smaller discussions to talk to, I can't even think of a small town, but
Smaller town.
But
Yeah.
more comparable.
yeah, something a little more
Yeah.
comparable, like, oh, these, the Saco guy, he's like, yeah, we have 250 summer employees. I was like, the town of Waldeboro doesn't even employ 250 people. So like I have 8, like
Right.
that's not apples to apples at all. But you did learn stuff.
But you can clean some stuff.
You do glean,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure. And one of the awesome ones I sat in on was run by Todd Souza. He was the recreation director in Wiscasset for years. He's now in Scarborough. And so he did one on budgeting that was pretty neat, where he showed he puts up together all these graphs that show how self-sufficient he is.
Oh.
Just even though he's asking for all this money for his program, it's for these reasons, because I'm self-sufficient over here. And I've never, while I am basically, the town budget as far as my stuff goes is my salary, my health benefits, some field maintenance stuff. And the senior citizen bus trip and like porta potties.
But it's not the total
It's not the-
program.
It's
budget.
not the
Yeah,
total, if,
right?
you know, if I was gonna have to budget what it would, you know, take my revenues out of it, if I had to budget, my budget would double, if not triple.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it was cool to see, you know, he had these things that showed, hey, you know, this line. I'm 158% self-sufficient, like it's covering way more than it's spending this next, yeah, and then he got to the one.
That was,
They're in a unique situation in Scarborough where their rec department takes care of their school fields. And so,
that's not unusual.
Interesting.
so he got to that, he's like, you know,
Really?
field maintenance, 0%, you know, 0% self-sufficient. And this, you know, it's $1 million line item. He's got a fleet of vehicles and stuff as big as our public works.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Right, to
And
take
so,
care of all that.
and so he's like, you know, if they want to start talking about places to cut for me. This makes the most sense, you know, look at this,
Right.
you know, so it was interesting to see. How he approached stuff, and I think he still lives in Wiscasset. He was pretty helpful. I did speak up in that one, because I was interested for sure. But so yeah, we talked about some other ones, one of them was like. Personality types as far as like summer camps go, like how to deal with certain
Right.
types of kids and staff. What do you do with a 15-year-old counselor that spends too much time on their phone? Like that stuff's all super,
fine, right?
super helpful. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty good conference. I went over the Sunday night, they had a round table for new directors. They started this program. It was a post-COVID, it's all the rec directors in the state that were hired in 2020, 2021, 2022. I was hired in 2017, so I don't make that cut, but some of them are, you know, the deputy director in Bath, you know what I mean? Like they're, you know, they make more money than I do, but they're, you know, they're in a bigger position than I am, but they're newer. And so I sat in on that, and actually a lot of,
Oh, cool.
they opened it up to everybody, and a lot of rec directors sat in on it, but it was neat to see what everyone was dealing with. And how every town is so different and how they deal with
Yeah.
stuff. It was, so
So
overall it was a good conference. I came out of one run by the Yarmouth Community Services Director and the Lewiston one, and it was about just branding and whatnot. And I was like, huh, like they're like, if you don't have a logo, you should have one now. And so you'll see in the last month, the rec department has a logo. I'm gonna put it on. So like you put it on everything, you know,
Yeah.
registration forms, any pamphlet you put out, get people to recognize that logo, and it helps show that you're out there. And so that was one thing I
PR.
brought out of there, and
Cool.
I made it you know, navy and like a light blue, and I put it up on Facebook, and I got heckled by the town office ladies real quick that it's those colors didn't go well together, the blues didn't work. And they say we ought to go blue and yellow like the high school. I said, everything I do is blue and yellow. I said, I want to do blue and blue. I like blue. And they're like, those are Oceanside's colors. Whatever. True. So I deleted all those. I changed the middle to yellow, and that's what we're stuck with. So it was like a week after that. They're like, what do you think of this color? I was like, I'm not qualified to speak on. That's what you get working in an office full of ladies. They let
The
you
other
know.
thing is the networking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When you
Oh, yeah.
get those,
Yes, it's
is
amazing.
invaluable,
Yeah.
you know, because you can call, hey, Tony, Freddie,
Yeah, called yesterday. I didn't get him because he was at a conference, but the Wiscasset Recreation Director, hey, Dwayne, you know, I've talked to him at the conference the last couple of years, like. He's got a cool story. I think he was the like facilities guy in Wiscasset, and then worked his way up to, you know, I don't know where he started, you know, he was in facilities, he worked up to working at the community center, and now he's their recreation director.
cool.
Yeah.
And, he's been with that town a long time.
And hopefully he's a guy that will give good insight to the community center, because they did a pretty good job of there.
Yep, so
Kind of-
he's new as a director in the last 4 or 5 years, but
But he did the
but-
center in Wiscasset.
I don't know if he did it.
He was
He-
involved.
He was involved in it.
He was he?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the name that I
Dwayne.
was ringing my bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be Dwayne Good or something, but yeah, yeah, so, you know,
Yeah, Good,
Call-
Good is the,
Good, yeah,
he's the guru over there now, yeah.
yeah, so he's their rec director, so I called him up, hey, can I talk to Dwayne?
Dwayne.
No, he's out, but he, I'm sure he would have got back to me about it. and
Sure.
Yeah, it helps knowing people,
Mhm.
Absolutely.
so. That's all I really had on that.
Cool. Sounds like it's well worthwhile.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. The first year I went to it, it was down at the Holiday Inn by the Bay in Portland. It was cool. I went down, got a hotel for the night, couple nights, and
Yeah.
now it's at the same set, so I just drive back and forth every day.
Yep.
So, perfect.
Awesome. Anything we would like to add to future agenda?
We'll leave community center on there.
Yep.
Committee,
Vice Chair,
vice chair.
will we have an update on the playground?
As long as I get a quote from him, which shouldn't really
Okay.
change too much, I will take that quote to the select board in 2 weeks. So we should have an update.
Okay.
So I'll leave that on there either way. Same with Foster Field.
When,
Probably take spring, summer preview off,
Yep.
since I'll probably just cover it in my director's report anyways.
Yeah.
We can talk about the 250th again and just how things are coming along.
that'd be awesome.
Murph, take off.
Yep.
I don't know if
think
we'll have anything
else.
new.
That's fine,
If something comes up like with Sylvania or something,
Right.
I'll throw it on there.
You guys meet monthly?
Yeah, the fourth Wednesday of every month.
How many members on the?
There's supposed to be
supposed to
seven.
be seven.
So Kelly's our secretary. She's at a conference for her work in Boston today.
Dusty does
Dusty
Little League
Star has a
practices.
little league or something practice. And Raymond Tompkins is our last member and we haven't.
We haven't
seen-
been ran a while.
I've tried to reach
Well,
out.
thank you guys for being on a committee like this, because it's tough to get people to step up, especially, the rec committee. It's like Jim was saying earlier, you need the young folks, because they're the best of kids. We've all had our kids in
Right,
the programs.
right. It
Yeah.
just gives a different perspective.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. That's what's important to me.
Yeah.
May not be important.
Oh, pickleball numbers. I counted 12 playing last,
12, yeah.
12 plus, I think
We had a. 12?
yeah,
That's 30.
because we could have had three full
We had
courts,
three.
but we had
We
people
had three
sit-
full courts, but
but
some
we had
people
people,
didn't want them.
right.
So it's
Uh,
going pretty well.
Yeah,
that's a blast.
yeah, 12's the low. I wasn't there last week because I was on vacation and I got the money from my mom.
It was-
And the money from
was 12.
Tuesday,
Plus the baby and the grandmother.
and it averaged out to just over 18 players a day, so
Yeah.
we must have had,
Well, it was vacation week,
yeah.
so.
Vacation.
you weren't
Oh,
there.
Yeah, so, yeah, I wasn't there, but I'd say we've been averaging about 18 a
I
day.
was gonna say,
Which,
usually,
which in years past, we've been averaging probably 8 to 10, so,
I remember you
Yeah.
beat me to death.
yeah.
Mm,
And so, yeah, it's been
Age.
fun. It's been fun having the numbers. We'll see. I've been asked a couple times, are you gonna keep this going through the summer? Last
later
year,
hours.
later hours, we can talk
We
about
talked
later
about
hours.
later hours.
We can. I just gotta find somebody to run it. I
I know that, I remember you saying that.
cannot be there every whatever night from 6 to
We'll
8.
wait a little
Are you
longer.
looking for an evening, you said?
Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't work my
he
9 to
works
11,
during
I
the
work
day.
during the day.
So and I'm sure there's others. So like the MRC has some late night ones.
They just started last year. They put it at 6 o'clock, but they're going to almost 10.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
That's crazy.
they have a 8 to 10 one. It runs while I'm playing hockey over there.
Yeah, and that just started
Past my bedtime.
because they had too many.
Yeah,
I can't.
Oh, wow.
I can't even get in to play over there, and that's where
they've moved over to the rink.
they moved to the rink so they can add a few more, but it's.
Still packed, huh?
It's,
Kind of like the summer program.
Yeah.
Everyone's filling up around you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. It's great. So we've had some days where we've had like upwards of 24
yeah,
and it's too many.
it is.
I have talked to
I can see
the,
that.
I have talked to people that have been to the MRC and they said, when they're inside, say they have 4 courts, so that'll host 16. They'll
And they
take,
let 20.
they'll let 20. So
So
basically,
you only sit one.
you only sit
You
one
only-
person.
And it
Right.
moved along real quick, but
Right.
then they go over to the rink, and I think there are more courts.
Yeah,
So I
probably,
think they go up to,
right.
I think they go
So-
to 24 there.
So in theory, if we followed the same thing with our 3 courts, we would max out at 15, and we've been averaging 18, sometimes
Right.
upwards of
And-
22,
But I
24.
think it's not a problem.
I don't think it's a problem either, but it's just,
Right, based on them.
And the thing is-
based on them, that's,
Are you expanding it to that from 9 to noon?
we expanded from 9 to noon
Oh, I
to
didn't know.
cover that.
Yeah.
And it really depends, sometimes we've gone all the way to noon, sometimes we go till 11:30,
Yeah, I
11:45.
know.
Sometimes we only have 10 people there, and by 11, it's like,
Everyone's
Yeah,
my
I can
legs are
barely
dead.
stand up.
Yeah, I'm done. And so we've just been playing it relaxed and by
Yeah.
ear, and I've had no complaints. And if we keep people coming through the summer, I don't mind. The
Right.
church has said we can stay
Or
It's-
earlier morning,
earlier morning.
go 7 to 9 or something like that.
Yeah, that's a
That-
possibility.
That's a possibility.
Yeah,
I could-
whatever,
I could swing that,
you could swing that,
yeah.
7 to 9. We'll see. Yeah, I'd be interested in adding another one, because we have plenty of demand. But if our numbers dwindle off like they have in the past, once the weather gets nice,
So we also had less people coming.
we had less people, so we'll see how it goes. I don't mind keeping it going, but if the numbers dwindle,
Right. not
I
worth
don't
the
mind
time.
shutting down for the summer.
Right.
Yeah.
Because odds of me making money in the summer to
Yeah,
run
you
them.
start missing it. I
Yeah.
remember setting up many.
Yeah, yeah. So, hey,
And that's okay.
fortunately, I have, it seems silly, but I have my parents that are
Oh, yeah.
super into it, and they're,
I know.
Are they?
yeah, and so.
It's a little crazy
So,
watching
yeah.
now.
Hey, mom and
When they're
dad.
married,
You don't
when they're playing
understand.
against
When
each
they
other.
started- When they started, it wasn't like that.
Oh, and it's more my mom. My dad's recently got into it, and then once lobstering kicks up, he won't be
He
showing
won't
up
be there
anymore.
much.
Right.
But my mom, yeah, she's super into it, and
Yeah,
so
she
it's been convenient. I've always had a second in command. Karen Rowan and Joe kind of helped
Right.
me for a few years,
Yeah.
but now that mom's into it, it's like, hey, mom, I am slammed at the office. Can you set up pickleball today? I just can't make it, and it's always a yes. Like she's always there.
That's awesome.
And so I try to make it as much as I can, but if I'm not afraid to miss it if I have other stuff going on, which from here through October is a lot.
Yeah.
So
It's
Just
about,
out of curiosity, is there anything down in Friendship?
the
that
Han
people use?
Center has a court.
They
One-
do.
One court.
One
in-
court.
inside
One
the
court.
hall, Yeah, yeah, my parents play in there on Fridays.
oh, is that what they
Okay.
play?
Yeah, Friday morning. And Tom and Carolyn come down, and then
Really?
Kim. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I should sneak down there.
Yeah.
Because I can't make Tuesdays.
Friday at 9 AM if you want, they're usually there. I'm not gonna guarantee it, but if you come walking in, they probably let you play a game.
What about what about the high school?
The high school has,
Tennis,
the high school has 2 courts on the tennis,
Yeah, but
They just got,
outdoor
they
tennis
just
courts.
got redone and we're not gonna
There's
put
no-
anything on them.
oh,
I was gonna say, they letting them on there?
oh,
So
okay. I
I,
wasn't
they,
aware
they
of that.
they put the lines down. The lines are painted on.
I didn't know
No?
they'd done that. I know they
Yes.
talked about it.
Yeah,
Wait, they put pickleball in them?
yes. Yeah, so there's 3 tennis courts at the high school.
Yeah.
One of them has ball lines painted on each side of the court. So there's 2 pickleball courts at the high school
Oh, no
outside.
I didn't know that.
There's no nets,
We got
and
nets.
you can't use it during the day when the
Right.
kids
No,
go to school.
and
But there are outside courts. So if if you go up there at 5:30 at night,
Right, but they do something during the summer. Like they do have a little bit of tennis.
they have tennis camp or something.
don't
They
know,
get
I think
suggested.
actually, I didn't include that in any of my reports. The MRC reached out to me. We're partnering on a tennis camp and a middle school tennis program
That's what I-
next fall. So that's gonna be a rec
That's-
program.
That's
Oh,
right.
That's awesome, because Kelly's been thinking about getting tennis, because she didn't do anything in the spring.
Yep. So yeah, the lady from the MRC that is a higher up in tennis.
Yeah.
She lives right across from the high school, and she said
Oh, that's
that
right. Okay.
she said that basically when it gets to high school tennis, Camden just absolutely dominates.
Dominates,
Right,
because
yeah,
they-
because they have the.
because
yeah,
they're
they-
at the
they have fe-
MRC.
They have the feeder.
Right, they have the MRC as a feeder, and
Right.
the lady's like, and a lot of people don't know this, but nobody gets turned away from the MRC for lack of
Right.
payment.
Right.
And so, but she said it is a little bit of a drive, but we don't get the kids
We're used to
from,
driving.
we don't get the kids from Oceanside, we
Right.
don't get the kids from Adomic, we don't get the kids from
Right.
Belfast, and so, but, when we get to high school, the Camden kids have been playing for years. Whereas,
high
whereas Madomic will
Yeah.
get the ninth graders walking in like, how do I hold this racket? You
Right.
know?
But it's
And
like
Yeah, because they don't even have middle school.
Lincoln Academy, the same way, the
Yeah.
girls' team is.
Yeah.
They kill people.
Yeah, and
Yep.
so,
That's
so
because they get
she's gonna run a camp this summer at the high school. And it's gonna run pretty similar, I think, for me, like the Dutch soccer runs.
Yep.
Like she sets everything up. All I'm kind of helping do is advertise.
Right.
Okay.
But then in the fall, she wants to do like a middle school tennis league, and she's got coaches set up in all the different districts.
Wow.
She would be our coach for Madomic, but it's not through the school.
It's
It's
just
through
But
the
it,
site.
but it conflicts, that conflicts with
Okay.
other sports, but still.
in the fall.
anyways,
Yeah, it's fall.
anyways,
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it does conflict with other sports.
Whatevs.
But anyway, it's like 4 Saturdays or something like
Oh,
that.
that's not bad.
It's not terrible, and she's gonna be the coach.
Right.
But because it's so for them, for the MRC to do remote stuff, they have to have 2 certified pros on site for their insurance
Right.
all the time. And,
Gotcha, gotcha.
and she can't do that for the league thing. So basically,
It'd be a
we would-
rec league.
it'd be a rec league, the town, the
the
town's,
town.
the town's gonna take registrations, the town's gonna put up the insurance.
Yep.
She's gonna be the coach, and
Get
and
it,
we'll,
hey,
we'll,
that's
we'll
cool.
figure out a
That's
money,
nice.
Real
we'll
cool.
figure out a money split with the partnership,
That's nice.
Awesome.
so.
Well, that's good stuff.
Yeah. so that's-
Opportunities. That's what
Yeah,
it's
so-
about.
Something new,
Yeah.
and John Leach, the director in Warren, he ended up having some family sickness the day we were all supposed to meet, so he didn't make it, but he's planning, I think it's gonna be run, like, it'll be through our insurance and whatnot, but I think he's gonna take registrations in Warren as well. And because it's a Madomic.
Right.
Team thing, so
Cool.
we're all on board to help build it.
And yeah, the numbers help.
Yeah. So.
Awesome. Cool.
Next meeting, May 24th at 6 P.M.
Twenty-four.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Are we
Alrighty.
motioning to adjourn?
If
or-
someone would like to make such a motion,
Jim?
Jim's
Jim.
going for the trifecta.
Yeah.
And so is Chris with a second. All in
got the
favor? Teamwork makes the dream work. There we go. Shut her down. All right.
Thanks, Jess.
And this is bothering me, because I won't be around. It's the trek across Maine. It's been that way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, they tried.
28 years.
That's right.
going to 30, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be here.